The meeting began with announcements and recognitions. Assistant City Secretary Sandra West recently completed leadership training with the Texas Municipal League. The Victoria Police Department's Chief Chuck Young completed his master's degree in criminal justice, and Lieutenant Mark Hayden and Detective Terrence Wilkinson completed their bachelor's degrees in criminal justice. We also gave a shout out to our spring interns from the University of Houston, Victoria, Riley Rivera, who interned with the Victoria Public Library and the Municipal Court, and Julia Heisel, who interned with Communications and Public Affairs. And we said a fond farewell to Councilwoman Josephine Solis, who is stepping down from City Council after serving since 2012. She has served on numerous local and regional boards and commissions, including as president of the Golden Crescent Regional Planning Commission, and fulfilled the duties of mayor in 2021 after Mayor Raleigh McCoy passed away. Next, it was time for the new council members to take the oath of office. Council members Stephen Kidder and April Butler were newly sworn in, and council members Rafael de la Garza and Jan Scott were sworn in for their new terms. With the new council in place, the next step was to choose a mayor pro tem, who will fulfill the duties of mayor if the mayor is absent or unavailable. Councilman Andrew Young was chosen to continue serving as the mayor pro tem. There were two additional items from council. The mayor requested an update from City Attorney Allison Lacey about the implementation of the new Code of Conduct for appointed officials. Lacey is in the process of scheduling meetings with appointed officials to answer questions about the Code of Conduct and collect feedback for the City Council so that Council can consider whether any additional amendments are needed. The upcoming regular meetings of the Tourism Advisory Board and the Library Advisory Board have been postponed to allow time for these discussions. Lacey also clarified that the codes of conduct apply to all members of city-run boards, including non-city appointees. The mayor also asked Lacey to explain a footnote that is found on all council agendas, and which states, "In addition to the items listed under public hearings, every item on this agenda shall be considered a public hearing." This footnote refers to the citizen communication period, and it was added to the agenda years ago, when citizen communication was not required by state law. If an item is not listed under public hearings, residents are welcome to comment on that item, or anything else, during citizen communication. In other words, citizen communication serves as the public hearing for those items. Speaking of which, there was one item under public hearings during the meeting. Council approved a variance to allow Mr. Gaddy's to continue selling alcohol after the location expands. Council previously approved a variance for Mr. Gaddy's in 2023, but now Mr. Gaddy's is adding an event venue in Suite 200 of the same building, so the owner requested a variance for the new address. Council voted to adopt the consent agenda, except for item D3, which was pulled to give staff time for further review. Council also heard two city manager reports. Director of Finance Wesley Janacek introduced the annual comprehensive financial report for the 2022-2023 fiscal year. The state-required audit of the city was completed by Harrison, Waldrop, and Uherick, and presented by Melissa Terry, a partner with the firm. The audit represents a nearly year-long process of continuous work and communication with the city. At the end of this process, the firm presented an unmodified or clean opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that the firm can give. An unmodified opinion means that the city follows the highest standards of ethical and transparent accounting practices. The city has now met the Government Finance Officers Association's gold standard for 39 years, ever since the state began requiring these audits. Finally, City Engineer David Sheblak presented an update on the city's capital improvement plan. The presentation began with a look at some upcoming projects. A contract for the Pleasant Green Drive reconstruction will be brought to Council on June 4th for approval, and street and drainage projects in Tanglewood and College Park will go to bid in the next few months. Sheblak also presented a funding overview for the proposed 3-year capital improvement plan starting in fiscal year 2025. Next fiscal year, the city is proposing a capital improvement budget of $40.52 million, with almost half the funding going toward residential streets and drainage. And in fiscal year 2026, the city will begin the design phase for the section of North Street between Laurent and Ben Jordan, along with the Children's Park project and a number of other capital improvements. The North Street project will begin in 2027 with utility work in the area between Laurent Street and Avenue C. This year will also include utility work on Guy Grant. Looking ahead, fiscal years 2028 and 2029 are expected to see the completion of that section of North Street and completion of Guy Grant, as well as improvements to our water treatment and our city parks.